If you try to take the same approach, the same technology and the same process and put hundreds of waiters through it, you'll hire no one. If you ask frontline workers for a resume, people will just not apply for your job. 40% of the interviews are actually happening during non-business hours. It's not the big that eat the little, it's the fast that eat the slow. Someone actually gets a job, an opportunity for the next step in their journey, their career. There's something really, really powerful about that.
Hi, I'm Christy Honeycutt. I'm your host for Inside the C-Suite, where execs get real about leadership, impact, and what truly drives high-stake decisions. I'm super excited to have on the show today Sean Bear, CEO of Fountain. Welcome to the show.
Christy, it's great to be here.
I am so excited to meet you, and I chatbot GPT'd you today for a quick overview. And I think everyone knows what Fountain is, but would you share that with the audience that may not know?
Hopefully ChatGPT said wonderful things about me. You'll have to let me read it after, but and hopefully it said great things about Fountain, because that's really the most important thing. Fountain is a frontline tool set. So basically think of a company that's focused on how do we hire and retain and manage frontline workers around the world. And it's been our passion for the last almost 10 years now, focused on this 2.7 billion people who, they're not on their computer all day. They're, they're working in a restaurant, they're working in a factory, they're driving a truck, they're delivering food, they're in a grocery store. So that's our passion. So we're trying to open opportunities for that workforce around the world.
I love it. Well, I know you have a lot of adoption. I'm really familiar with this population as well. I know the average of hourly worker applies to anywhere from 8 jobs at a time, and they're not hearing back, right? And so for me, it's not a human experience. So I'm curious how you're keeping the tech human and the person first.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, your 8 to 10 is so good. I think the smartphone is sort of a double-edged sword. So on the positive side, it makes it really, really easy to apply for jobs. You can just swipe and click a couple buttons and then quick apply. The downside is quick apply, right? It's so easy to apply. It used to be more work to apply for a job, which meant there was less competition for the best people. You didn't apply to 8 jobs, you applied to 2 or 3. Now you apply 8, 10, 12, 15 jobs. Makes it that much more challenging for the employer to kind of get the right person, engage them, keep them in. Your human point is a great one. What we talk about at Fountain is hugs and nudges.
Hugs
and nudges. So
Okay.
if you find people that you think are going to be a great employee for your company, one, you want to kind of nudge them along. You want to kind of remind them, text them, along with your own branding and how you speak, your own kind of employer brand. But then you also want to hug them. You want to give them a virtual hug, say okay, look, Christy, we're so excited about your candidacy. Did you know that we offer tuition reimbursement? If you want to chat with us, let us know. We'd love to talk to you. So kind of trying to keep it human while at the same time kind of nudging people along, because you have to assume if they're applying to 8, you've got to kind of be the person in front in order to get them, especially the ones that are really, really great for your brand and your company.
So I love how technology has evolved over the years. I've been in talent probably 20 years, and I led was one specific client that was global, and we hired about 5,000 hourly workers a year. So I had a team of 12 people just to help take phone calls and answer questions from the candidates, because the population at that point, we were putting them through essentially a salary interview, right? The same process, which does not work for this population. And I love that technology has gotten here and it's been able to elevate the experience for the recruiter.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, how has Fountain kind of helped elevate that for your clients?
Yeah, it's a great point. It's so astute. Inside there, we should, I think we have to come to kind of the realization that office HQ staff is a different worker profile than your average frontline worker. Both are mission critical to the business. Frankly, the MGM casino doesn't work unless there are baristas and waiters and waitresses and hostesses and dealers and all kinds of things. You could argue they're actually more important than maybe the marketing team or the sales team or even the HR team that's in the kind of the C-suite or the HQ. But it is a very different process. If you're hiring an office worker or a knowledge worker, you're typically hiring very few of them. You're hiring like one director of digital marketing, maybe
Right.
two. If you're hiring waiters or waitresses, you're hiring hundreds. If you try to take the same approach, the same technology and the same process and put hundreds of waiters through it, you'll hire no one. And just to give you kind of a couple of tangible examples that I think the audience can relate to is most of us that, come to HR tech, for instance, have a LinkedIn profile
Yes.
that we keep updated and we update it and
Or a
post
digital business card.
or a digital business
Yes.
card. We have a CV or a resume that we keep relatively up to date. We have a laptop that we work on and we write lots of emails. The average frontline worker does not have a LinkedIn profile
No.
They-
Or a resume.
or a resume.
Yeah.
And so if you, just a simple thing, if you ask frontline workers for a resume, people will just not apply for your job, especially since I can go to another job and all I have to do is click 2 buttons on my phone and I'm applying to a job that doesn't require a resume. So that's kind of the core difference between it. The way that Fountain handles it is we make it really easy for candidates to engage and apply for jobs.
Right.
And then we give tools to the employer to figure out, of the thousands of people who are applying for this job, which ones are the right ones? Which ones should I run really fast and wrap in a hug? And maybe which ones aren't a good fit for me? Very quickly, if you're applying to work at a restaurant and you're 14 years old, it's not a fit.
Right. And you might not have a resume.
Correct.
So I'm curious. So, obviously, I've worked a lot in this space, and there's a lot of old school HR and old school management that just feels you have to have a resume. Well, if they want a job, we need a resume. How do you guys combat that with your clients?
Yeah, I think, it's like the proof is in the eating. Like it's not the proof is not in the pudding. The proof is in the eating. And like what we find is just A/B test it, right?
Yeah.
And what we find is you get actually higher quality candidates when you open the door and you allow people that maybe don't have even access to writing a resume. Doesn't actually tell you if they're going to be a really good grocery store employee. Like the ability to put bullet points on a document isn't actually a natural indicator that you'll be great as a cashier. It's sort of off. And so we try to encourage our customers to do that. Most of our customers embrace that, especially when they can see it in the data.
Oh, I love that. The data is like such a huge thing. So, quick question for you, because we know we're at HR Tech, there's been some really big announcements. Lots of organizations like yours are getting gobbled up and acquired.
Yeah.
Most recently, we all know about Workday and Paradox. Does that put additional pressure on you, the team, and Fountain on where you're going?
I don't think it puts more pressure on us. I would say actually, for the last 4 or 5 years, we've been singing from the rooftops how important frontline workers are. Even before COVID, I think we all learned during COVID how essential workers were. Everything is great until you go to the grocery store and there's no cereal on the shelf. And so
toilet paper.
or toilet paper or paper towels or whatever it is, right? We all learned how important that population of workers were to our daily life. We learned that. Unfortunately, it's a painful lesson to learn as a society at writ large. But we learned how important those workers are. Fountain's been talking about frontline workers for years, and our whole focus as a company. There are 2.7 billion of these people around the world who do the most important work on the front line of our economy. It makes sense that very large companies are sort of saying, hang on a second, we need to do something for this population of workers. And so we're excited that lots of organizations are sort of starting to perk up and say, these workers are really important. What can we do from a technology perspective to make them? So I think it elevates everyone here at HR Tech who's focused on this population of workers, including Fountain.
Oh, that's such a great answer. And so
Thanks.
politically answered correctly.
Yeah, it's politically correct. And it's also like in our heart. I mean,
Yeah.
we are, there's so much, especially with, AI, which is obviously everywhere here. It's so easy. You could build companies in anything now. Like it's so easy to build things. It's the question is, can you build something that you're passionate about?
Yeah.
And can you kind of combine the things you can build with what do you really want to do in the world? And I think Frontline is just kind of where our hearts are at.
So I love speaking to leaders that have heart for what they're doing, but more importantly, have heart for the end user and the people that are doing it. So I've got a question for you. So this is speak to a lot of CEOs, a lot of different companies, and there's a I'm going to call it a myth, but they think that so you've got two different populations. You've got people that have been tasked with going out and finding new technology with AI, right, to make us more efficient. This is your job. But there's usually not any parameters. The people aren't really sure what to do. And then you come here to HR Tech and you walk around. It's really confusing because everyone is saying AI, AI, AI. We do this, we do that. And I've heard senior HR leaders go, we can't tell the difference outside of the salesperson being really nice. And I'm just curious what your guidance would be for this population because you're being told that CTOs and CIOs should be making the decisions. I happen to believe it needs to be a, you know, come together decision because if the CTO purchases something for me and I have to use it and I don't like it, it's going to die,
It's great.
right? It's going to die on the vine and then you're a one-trick pony. So I'm just curious what your thought is as a leader about and how you would guide the many people out here looking for a solution.
Yeah. Such a great question. Especially if you walk around here. I don't think there's any booth here at HR Tech that does not have some AI something in it. And by the way, I'm not shaming anyone. Fountain, of course, we're a big AI. We're investing heavily in AI. What I would say to specifically HR leaders, two things I'd say, in two or three things I'd say about AI. First is, you know, make sure that how you embrace AI is a partner that gives you the ability to move your needle where your organization is comfortable. The reality is large organizations are going to come to AI at different pace. Some may say, we're all in. AI is everything. We can't wait. We're adventuresome. We want to go for it. Other companies are going to say, no, like we don't want to be last, but we don't want to be first.
Yeah.
We're going to go slow. One of the things that Fountain does is to say, we have a tool set that you can try AI a little bit. And then as you get more comfortable and as your organization evolves and becomes more comfortable, you can turn the dial up. So that's kind of the first thing I'd say about AI. The second thing I'd say is you are not behind. I think there's a tendency that, especially for HR leaders, to feel like there's some AI geniuses out there and I'm not one of them. The space is evolving so fast. The technology is evolving so fast. It doesn't take a lot to become pretty expert at AI. Go out, talk to some other leaders who are doing it, and you'll find that like in a matter of weeks and months, you will become the AI expert at your company, like pretty quickly. And then the last thing I'd say about AI, I think your point about the CTO, the CFO, who's responsible for this, I think it should be the HR leader should be running towards AI. The reason I say that is not only to help improve the people function, but to set the example for the rest of the organization, right? If the people team who's in charge of all of the culture and all of the goings on inside the company is embracing AI, it sort of gives every other department, it sets an example, it sets the bar high for every other department of the company. I would love to see HR leaders become like CHRO and I lead all our AI activities of the company. Be amazing.
Well, and I talk a lot about PR for HR because I think that these folks, they do so much, right?
Yeah.
And everyone expects them to be a counselor and a lawyer and all of an AI expert. Who knows what they expect them to be?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they need a seat at the table. And they're not going to have a seat at the table if they don't embrace change and what's best for the end user. And I think that's great. So if somebody was looking to maybe come work with Fountain, if they're curious, what are some indicators of a good match for you guys?
Yeah, great question. So the first thing is frontline workers need to be pretty important to the organization. And that's kind of like table stakes for us. If you don't have any frontline workers, we would love to talk to you, but you're probably not a good fit for the Fountain product suite. So that's kind of the first thing. The second thing I would say is an interest in sort of transformational change in the way that you hire, engage, and retain frontline workers is a really good indicator of this is a great potential customer for Fountain. The reality is Fountain is a transformational technology. It it changes dynamically how companies hire and retain workers. It produces extraordinary results. And it's kind of is one of those things where you use it and you can't remember what the old world was like because the new one is so great. You're like, yeah, why did it take so long to do this? So we look for people who are like, I want to set a new standard at our company. I want to transform the way that we handle frontline workers and engage frontline workers and retain frontline workers. That's a really good sense that you should be a Fountain customer. So if you're somebody listening and you really want to transform the way that you work with frontline workers, definitely reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you.
That's great. And I heard this a lot back in the day. So, okay, yeah, I've got a lot of frontline workers, but what about my salary folks?
Yeah.
How does Fountain
Yeah.
address that?
I think that's actually an area that AI is really powerful in. So one thing that's amazing about us, right? One, we always start with that frontline worker in mind. That's like our kind of North Star.
Right.
But increasingly our customers come to us and they're like, this is really good for frontline workers. Is there any way that our salaried office workers could also use it? Sure, like no problem. We actually have customers who we have an I-9 product. Nobody loves I-9s. They're terrible to fill out, but we all have to do it. Our product is so easy to use. We have customers come to us and they're like, I know you did this for our frontline staff. Our HQ staff hates I-9s too. Could they use it? Yeah, no problem. You also think about like our primary communication method at Fountain is via text message or WhatsApp, depending on where you are in the world. I think most office workers also are texting a whole lot, right? So like, sure, you want to engage with your employees via text message. We don't actually care whether they're in the front line or in the office. So that's kind of how I would say it.
I think it's more of a perceptual shift, right? For people to kind of say it's changing. The future of work is changing. Well, it's changed. It's here. It's either get on or get off. Yeah, it's definitely here. So as we kind of, so I could geek out about this all day because I have a 20-year background in talent and I really love peace.
Yeah.
So my brother actually called me. My baby brother never had a resume, got his first job out of high school, worked there his entire life, was up for a promotion. So this is internal mobility. So with their ATS system, he calls me and says, sis, I'm up for promotion, but they can't process me until I submit my resume. And I was like, but you've worked there for 7 years. And he goes, I know. So HR, do something different.
Do something different. Exactly.
So I said, I got you. So I just whipped it up real quick and popped up. But not everybody has a Christy in their pockets,
Yes.
right? But it is just, I think we do need to encourage and, like you said, love on the HR team and let them know it's okay to change. You have people in your corner. And it's in such a weird space where TA and HR have been under attack over the past few years. We have so many colleagues out of work.
Yeah.
Just everything's moving
Really, really fast.
really, really fast. And I think it's very, and there's a hesitancy I've seen with HR in selecting the wrong thing. So I was actually leading people at an organization and I came in and did an audit, with 2 of everything, there. We had 5 systems, 3 did the same thing.
Yeah.
1 was built by someone that moved on. And out of the 5, I think 1 was actually somewhat being used, but the links were broken. So to your point of HR should own it. Yes, they should own it because those purchases were made by the finance department who had nothing to do with the people team or how that was
Correct.
interacting. I just love your wisdom.
I also think, our the smartphone and sort of the apps and the things that we use in our personal life
right.
have actually like made our expectations higher for what we use at work. Like you're on your own phone, you're reading, you're playing a game, you're doing something, and it's this amazing experience and you love it. And then you open up your HRIS system at work and you're like, I can't believe I have to click all these buttons. This looks terrible. It's so cumbersome. Like you go to your HR team and you're like, I don't love this system. Why can't it be more like TikTok or, whatever app happens to be out there?
But we have micro attention spans nowadays
Exactly.
anyway. If you think about how we communicate, because I'm going to age myself. a lot, but I remember like the rotary dial
The
phone, right?
phones, yeah.
I remember watching TV and you had like the clicker and
Yeah.
with the wire.
Right.
MTV was the bottom one down and the first
Yes,
button.
exactly.
But we've moved to this state where it's hard to keep up with everything.
Yeah,
You've got
absolutely.
LinkedIn, you've got Instagram,
Right.
all the different socials, and then communication. I remember when you would get a text, that was like a very personal, private.
Yeah, yeah.
And now I get a text to see if I can take a call.
Oh, yeah.
I get a text to see if I can text.
Yeah.
And
And then you also get a text from like some company that you bought jeans from, and they're like, "Would you like to come back and buy more jeans?"
girl, let's not talk about the Bahamas. We're all going to start getting advertised. But it with the way that the communication is changing in our world so quickly, it just throws me for a loop because we have to make it different. We want it different. Like
Yeah.
I can't go to Sonic with my son going, use the app, and I'm like, I don't want to download another app. But we're working in a multi-generational workforce right now, and
Absolutely.
it's I think communication just within that
Yeah.
dimension alone is difficult.
Difficult.
And then how do we bring them together with tech?
Yeah, totally agree. And again, for frontline workers, that smartphone, that text message, that is the delivery mechanism. That is how you reach them. If you try to do something else, likely gonna fail.
Well, and I'm curious too, like if you guys have seen from your data, because I'm sure you're watching all of the data, do you see like a certain time that these people are engaging? Is it weird?
It's actually fascinating. We have an interview product. Obviously, it's an AI interviewing product. It's incredible. But 40% of the interviews
Yeah.
are actually happening during non-business hours.
Yeah.
And the reason is most frontline workers they're working a shift. They can't just like take 30 minutes to do a call at 9:30 in the morning. They're on the clock.
Yep.
What they can do is they can call you at 7 p.m. tonight. Maybe after they drop their kids off or pick their kids up or make dinner. That's when they can do the interview. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of recruiters
Right.
kind of sitting around at 8 p.m. waiting for calls. 20% of our interviews are happening between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. local time. Like these are people who are finishing maybe a night shift.
Yeah.
They're looking for another opportunity, engaging with an employer, having an interview, and right after they're figuring out, okay, is this a place I want to go work?
So would you say that Fountain is enabling your clients to work when they're asleep?
Correct. Recruiting while you sleep is if that's not our tagline, we ought to have it.
Marketing, give me a
Marketing, get on it. Christy's hired.
sold. So we had a chance to get to meet each other. And guys, I just met this wonderful man today and I just love him already. You say things like heart, you're a girl dad.
Yes.
I love so with the leaders I talk to, I want to know your heart because you've accomplished a lot. I don't care about your educational background. Frankly, I really care about what you're doing for your players, your partners, your clients, and our community.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about you, what makes you tick? Because I know you were the first angel.
Yes. I was the first investor in Fountain, and then and now the CEO. So I've like invested. I was a customer. I was a unpaid intern for a while, board member, CEO. But I think, like when I think about Heart, this is my fourth startup journey. One in e-commerce, one in advertising technology, one in automotive technology, and now one in people technology. And I think that the reason why I invested, the reason why I work here, the reason why I'm inspired by the Fountainers around the world, there's something important and fulfilling about when we build technology and someone clicks those buttons, someone actually gets a job. They actually get like an opportunity for the next step in their journey, their career. There's something really, really powerful about that. Taking nothing away from like having better, commercials on the internet and better ads and better targeting and more boxes showing up at your house. Those are wonderful things to do for the world. But there's something really powerful about a human being finding their next job, their next opportunity, maybe for a company that they're going to work for 7 or 10 years and eventually get promoted. Like that's
Hopefully they won't have to call their sister for rent.
yes, hopefully they don't call their sister. But what's really amazing about it, and I say this internally at the company, it's a mission worth doing. Even if we weren't getting paid, even if like the software was free, it's worth doing It's like it's the right thing to do. It's worth doing. It's a mission that I would do even if they didn't pay me. Just a little bit about what makes me tick.
I love it. Well, and you're a girl dad.
Yes.
And you can tell from your smile that they're
Yes.
very spoiled.
Yes, they I hope they love me.
Safe to say they are. My boyfriend says, "Well, my kids are spoiled, but they're not spoiled rotten."
That's good. I'm gonna have to figure out if I can get them some like stuffy things from HR Tech to go to some booth and
There's some parrot. Have you had a chance to walk around?
I have not. I've worked on them a little bit, but if there's a parrot with like an AI on it,
There is. I don't remember which one it was, but there is a parrot. There's some brilliant marketing.
Yeah.
That's really great. I will say there was two that was my favorite. One is the and I feel bad that I can't tell you who the company is, but they were doing basketball with parrots.
parrot basketball.
I mean,
Sounds right.
it's cool.
With AI, obviously.
Well, I mean,
AI.
somewhere in there. And then there's another company around that's doing aura readings.
Ah,
And I got to tell you,
at
the
HR
girl-
Tech.
yeah, at HR Tech, and I got some good aura.
Aura, I
I
love
was
it.
really happy.
Really
because
great.
she's spot on. So, what are you guys doing to kind of stand out differently this year?
Yeah, I mean, our focus again. I think one thing we're doing is focus exclusively on Frontline. That's like our.
Yeah.
If we do nothing else, making sure that everybody in the industry knows that when they think of Frontline, they think of Found. That's like mission critical for us. And then the second thing is, can we turn HR people into what we call 10Xers? You know, I have a tech background. In technology, what you have are 10X engineers. That's just concept.
Okay.
That there are these engineers who are just like superstars. They can do 10 times the amount of work as anybody else, or they produce 10 times more outcome
Right.
than everybody else. That concept doesn't really exist in HR. We don't have yet.
It needs to. We need a need for
to.
speed.
Like 10Xers. Like, and I think we know there's some people out there that are like, they're just incredible. Imagine being able to turn your entire HR team into a team of 10Xers. They produce 10 times better outcomes, 10 times more outcome. Again, to help this frontline workforce. So it's our focus.
I love it, and it's such an important focus, and it helps us move.
Absolutely.
Right? Nobody wants to go and not have the service that
Exactly.
we need. And guys, if you're interacting with frontline workers, please be kind.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Kind. Yes, have a good aura. Be kind.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's great.
So, what do you like to do when you're not speaking with me and you're not at a conference? I hear that you keep your calendar as tight as I do.
Yes, I have a very, very busy schedule.
And God
I
bless
spent-
your assistant.
Yes, my my assistant is wonderful. I spend a lot of time with my family. I'm a, as mentioned, a girl dad. So if I'm not talking about frontline workers, I'm probably at a playground or taking them for hamburgers or something like that.
No extreme sports.
No extreme sports. I
But it's
try to go to
crazy.
the gym as much as I can.
Balance. Well, before we end, so I always like to ask this from wise, sage
Yeah.
leaders like yourself. But is there a time that you failed? And if there was, what did you learn from it?
Yeah. The biggest learning for me, yes, first of all, as an entrepreneur, it's mostly failure.
And I know true leaders when they sit here and go, "Which one?" or "Tell me."
Yeah,
It
it's
is.
mostly failure. Like, if you're building something new,
Mhm.
and no one has ever built a frontline operating system that helps you hire and retain frontline workers at scale, it's never been done. If it had been done, I would be doing something else. So it's kind of a brand new thing. You're always failing, always.
Yes.
The thing that I think I learned from failure, and I inside our company we talk a lot about it, right? Is like it isn't that you failed; it's how quickly can you recognize that you failed and move forward. That's like the thing. And I think in my past, like I've built products that ultimately did not work. The mistake wasn't building the product; it was taking too long to realize that they weren't going to work and making the change. And so
Mhm.
for Inside Found, we talk a lot about speed. Like we think speed cures everything. So for us, it isn't the big that eat the little. Everyone's worried that there's some big company over here that'll beat them. What I would say is, it's not the big that eat the little, it's the fast that eat the slow.
Ooh, it's
Um,
not the big that eat the little.
The fast that eat
The
the
fast
slow.
that eat the slow. That may be a quote that I'm going to come to
Fake
you.
it.
I don't fake it.
So anyway, that's what I've learned from my many failures in entrepreneurship.
Well, I have thoroughly enjoyed
Thank you.
this time, and I'm
Really
so
fun.
grateful that I chased you.
Yes, this is great. I'm so
I
glad it
had to
worked out.
stalk him, so thank you, Fountain Team. And I'm so glad it worked out. It's a
Absolutely.
pleasure to meet you.
Really great.
Your heart shines through in who you are in the product, so I am excited to see where it goes next.
Really great. Thanks so much.
And for those of you who joined us, thank you so much. Please go to Work Define, follow, like, and check out Inside the C-Suite and connect with this guy and Fountain and the team. You guys are over there.
Yes.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.